come to order at 2 p.m. 71 Cottage Road.
Good evening, Steve Sawyer, SBS Engineering.
Forget your memory.
What's that? Should I just come on up?
Pull a chair up.
Okay, that works. I like that. Okay. All right, so we have 71 Cottage. That's at the corner as you make the final corner to head to the river. Currently, there's a tank and field. I believe it's in the groundwater and failed. And currently, the existing field is within 100 feet of the abutting well at, what's that, 73?
Go back a second, you said groundwater.
Well, no, the groundwater is only 30 inches, so this system is not mounted, it's in the groundwater.
Presby.
So, and yeah, the new one's the Presby. So the system's in failure, they're looking to sell the property. And I think they have it under agreement. It's under agreement and scheduled to close before the end of the year. But as part of that, we need an approved system. So the new system, what we did is we slid it. So the new system actually meets the 100 to 73 Cottage and also meets the 100 to, I forget what that, there's a well across the street.
100 feet between septic and well.
Yeah, so the only septic that were within the 100 would be the subject, on the subject properties well, to the front yard, we're 65 feet. 65 feet. So with that, we're doing the enhanced Presby pre-treatment field. And we're actually not asking for the waiver for 2 feet, so we have the full foot separation to groundwater. With the new system. It's limited to it's a 2-bedroom home, can't increase, so it's limited to a 2-bedroom system. And with that, it is mounted, but it's not a horrific mound. We got 4 feet to groundwater. You got about a 30-inch wall on one side. The new owner, there's a couple cedar trees out there that they actually are pretty adamant that they want to save it, particularly this one. It's kind of a cute tree to, you know, it kind of looks quite stately with the marsh in the background, which is good. We want to, I think conservation will be happy with the fact that we're saving these 2 trees also. So yeah, it's a 1,500 gallon tank with a combo with a 500 gallon pump chamber. I did provide an alternate for a contractor if they prefer, rather than handling a big tank, if they'd rather do a 1,500 gallon ledge tank and then a 4-foot diameter manhole that would provide the required 1 day of storage if they'd rather work with smaller tanks. So it may, you know, they can figure out, you know, during that would be all covered in the as-built, whether they go with the two small, you know, the smaller tanks or the large combo tank. It'd be up to what works best for them. And so that's it. So we need a waiver or variance for offset to well from 100 to 65 feet. And I guess as part of the regulations ask for 50 feet from a resource area. And we're actually, this is a mowed area, but I had Tom Hughes go out there with Hughes Environmental, and he said this area, if it wasn't maintained and mowed, it would probably revert back to marsh. So this is the actual limit of the marsh is over here, but his flagged resource area is in that location, and we're 14 feet from that. So those are the only 2. Other than that, we're fully compliant.
Okay, 2 things that I'd like to see. First one being a water test, just so we have a level.
Yep.
You know, so we know where it's at now.
Yep.
I mean, and second being, they must have equipment that can handle the double tank.
Yep.
That's what we're looking at. I'd like to see that approved.
Okay. So you wouldn't want it. You wouldn't want the alternative of the 1,500 that the 2 separate.
Draw it up.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's all right. I think they're right now. I think the bids that they coming in. It's on the full tank.
Do you have any questions about any? FYI, I asked about plastic, and they do have a plastic barrier as part of this one or both of them.
Yes, we have a plastic barrier on the barrier on the rubber membrane barrier around the perimeter of the entire field.
Any questions?
Is
I'll
there,
entertain
do you need a deed restriction for the
think we-
2-bedroom?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so we'll actually, yeah, we'll need the deed restriction
Okay,
also for the
perfect.
2-bedroom.
So then I'll entertain a motion to accept as presented with the addition of just a groundwater, a well water test, just so we have a level, we know where it's at today. And I'll second, since I put the words. Sorry. All in favor? Aye.
All set?
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay.
So just, I'll talk to, Dennis.
This isn't under construction yet, right?
No, no.
So we're talking about.
I think they'll be doing it, yeah, so what they need, they're trying to close, and the new homeowner is gonna, I think, paying for the system. It's all kind of worked into the deal, the home buyer. But they need to make sure everything's approvable and can be built, and I don't think they're planning to move in right away. They're gonna be moving in probably in the spring, so they're getting bids on it now, so they know what the price is, but it'll be constructed in the spring.
Does the fact that it's in failure affect that?
No.
No, they can, it's the agreement between however they agree to, I think they pay cash, to be honest, but.
So 90% of the systems that are failed on a Title V inspection report due to a sale is not due to an outbreak or running down the street or something like that. It's usually, due to either the groundwater, they found carryover, so it's not like it's
Yeah.
outbreaking.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, there's no health,
No.
there's no
Yeah.
health hazard out there. All right,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be a nice, quick, easy meeting. I need to do my report, the monthly report of what we have. So we have basically our installation of septics are completed. We have 2 systems right now that will be completed by next week. They're a little behind schedule, so it's no big deal. I did all the bedrock excavation. It looks great. I just have to do finals on those next week. Food, Ginger doing all our food inspections. The state mandates us to do them biannually. So she just completed last week all the second for the year of all the inspections for food, so that's all done. And once we close, we keep for existing dwellings, just so we can keep getting plans in and not hold up residents. We do soil testing, perk tests year round for just existing. We don't do for new construction, and you can't install right now because it's not the best time once the ground freezes. So we'll continue to do that. Then the only other things I had was, so we belong to this Region 3A group, which is through the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and it's a coalition for emergency preparedness. And we got some funds from this emergency preparedness, and they have to approve of what we can use this funds for. And so this round, at the end of this year, we got approval for a couple of, I think there's gonna be 2, possibly 1, but hopefully 2 Easy Up to put in our emergency management trailer in case we ever had some kind of whatever, if we were gonna teach a class, whatever. So we'll have a couple of Easy Up tents. We also, so we have a trailer right now that's sitting at the old town hall that is for emergency management. Same thing, to put all our stuff in if we ever had to go out and do any kind of emergencies. And finally, we got approval from the state to reimburse the town. We're gonna have it all lettered, and the lettering is really, it'll say Town of Newbury Board of Health, and have the seal, and it'll look great. And so we finally have approval of that. So I called, what was it, Bridge Company. They do all they do all the
Rick
towns.
Solmonson, you know, Rick?
No, he does all the DPW work or whatever, so he's on it now, so he's gonna have that all done up, so that will be good. And again, we'll get reimbursed, so that's even better news. And then the only other thing I really had that was kind of good for residents to know about, if you know anybody or whatever, but we have several cases of the rapid COVID-19 test kits that the state had given us, and we have several cases. So any resident can come in and you know, and get any of those test kits. We have them supplied at our office. We've brought some to the town clerk's office, the library, the Council on Aging, and there are some here at the Board of Selectmen's office, and then at the Newbury Food Pantry. So, and we have abundance of cases, so if anybody needs any, you know, we can distribute any of those for free. And that's kind of all I have, I believe. And the next scheduled meeting would be the third Thursday of the month at 1 o'clock, January 19th at 2 o'clock. And I don't know if the board has anything for me.
Well, you mentioned food pantry in the schools. They're going to be starting with the little mini pantries through the work of the Newbury Food Pantry. So they're going to be for more school-age kids, and they're going to be at the elementary schools, kind of the big cafeteria. So they're also working on some food insecurity
Yeah, and
initiatives
the
as
existing
well.
food pantry's gonna
Yeah, they're
manage
going
it?
to, exactly, yeah, so they're collaborating there. So there's
Jane's
more
a great girl.
outreach within the community too.
Do you know Jane Merrill?
I don't think I know her, no.
That food pantry started in the Methodist church here in Byfield. 3 women did it, and one day some guy came in there and scared the heck out of them. So Bob Knowles and I took it over. We were doing 8 or 10 families a week. And when they sold the church, when they closed the church to sell it, I went out and tried to find another church or organization to pick it up. And I went to the first church in Newbury. I spoke to their board, and they jumped right on it. And Jane Merrill's been heading it up, and now they do, I'm not sure how many families it is, but they're feeding 250, 275 people a
It's
week.
amazing. They're doing an amazing job. Oh, and in fact, with the reimbursement of that, and where we got that, we also got for the food pantry 2 hand sanitizing stations, 1 at each, and those, DPH is purchasing those, and we will donate those to the food pantry also. So yeah, they're doing amazing. So that's really good about the school too.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And the schools are also updating their wellness plan, so I'm not sure if you know that the, I remember Michelle Obama's like school lunch kind of
Yeah.
overhaul, so part of that federal legislation was to also ensure that every public school district had a wellness policy. So the last time that the Triton one was updated was in 2012. So it's been 10 years. So the school actually received a grant from the state. So they're working with someone through Framingham State University. So they completed kind of an assessment tool of the current wellness policy to see what's written and if it's in compliance with what's expected from not just the federal level, but also the state. Massachusetts, obviously, you know, we kind of do our own things, but you have to have a school lunch program, a breakfast lunch program that meets or exceeds the standards. So federally they have expectations, but Massachusetts has even higher expectations in terms of like saturated fat and calories and healthfulness of the meals. So we went through that tool and we're in the process of revamping the language so that it's in compliance, and then they will continue to stay on through the grant to help with implementation. So I guess if there's anything that you wanted me to communicate or have on there or be updated on, I'm happy to be that liaison.
I think it's great for you just to report to the board of what everything, I think it's great, and plus it publicizes and lets people know.
Exactly. We're hoping to get some speakers next year that kind of align and educate the public and the community about just kind of healthy eating, and then also have it as a platform
Yeah.
to just kind of share with the community the updates on that wellness policy and what's being done in the schools and with their taxpayer money.
The only thing I'd like to see, it'll never happen, I understand why, is that I'd love to see them offer breakfast the same as they do lunch?
They do, and actually their breakfast
So anyone,
participation.
anyone? can-
Anyone. School lunch is free, and actually their breakfast program has really taken off. So when kids either get dropped off at the school, I can only speak till Newberry, but I know they do offer it at Salisbury and Rowley at Pine Grove School as well. Breakfast is free to anyone, and they've, again, had a significant increase in
I
participation.
worked in the special education department for 2 years after I retired. You know, at that point, it was just the special ed kids that could get in.
Everyone.
That's
So,
great.
and a lot of things
That's
changed
great.
during the pandemic, and again, obviously the state's advocated for the continuation of that free school lunch
Excellent.
That's
program.
great, because, you know, you'd never like to admit it, but if you get 2 meals a day, that might be the
Well,
only
that's
2 meals
two-thirds
some
of
of
your
those kids are
nutrition,
getting.
exactly. So they have a lot of great things going on right now in terms of like, they have a great wellness coordinator and the things that they're trying to do holistically. And they also address social emotional skills as well, so something that they're really,
When you talk, do they have things like protein bars there?
not really, I mean,
If they're interested in getting them, maybe we could dig up some money to buy a few cases of them. Because
When-
kids that are only getting 2 meals a day can take one of those, use it as a third meal.
sure. We are also in communications about maybe doing like an after-school program that's more kid-focused for like some culinary skills and whatnot at that elementary school level. They have like the kids' test kitchen, which is kind of fun. So kind of home ec-ish, if you will.
Should talk to Jane and have her go talk to the principal and see if they can somehow get the word out to all the families. There are still families that don't even know that food pantry exists.
So we're looking part of our marketing too, where we do some wellness initiatives to reach out to people.
That's great.
Excellent. And then we just have our minutes of last month's meeting. I think we emailed them all to you guys, but here's the original copy.
I read the email and I didn't see anything.
Oh, I attached it with the agenda, but there you are. I don't have one copy, sorry.
That's been done, by the way.
So the exterior of the home's being cleaned up. I'll motion to approve.
Second, all in favor? We.
Okay. Yeah, and like I said, it's a nice, quick, and I assume, and we can always play it by ear if the board would like to. Sometimes if the weather permitting, and winter does slow right down for anything, so if we have no variance or something, and you know, want to skip January, we could wait and see what happens closer to that date. Yeah. And, yeah, that's all we have. It's been, knock on wood, we have no housing issues at this point, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's been good, yes.
They'll come in the spring.
Yes, yes, so it's all been good.
Okay. Nice to see you.
What, did you adjourn?
Happy holidays.
Motion to adjourn? Okay, so let me shut that thing off.